Hello, everybody. Good to see everybody here. So we've got a bunch of documents, and there's some stuff here that I don't know who Barry thinks he is, but he must think he's somebody special to be making demands like he is. So let me give some shout outs first before we get started, and then we'll jump right into it. But while we are waiting for that, I'm going to put this photo up. This is Barry Morphew. This is Suzanne. And this is Macy, and this is Mallory. So this is the oldest daughter here. This is the younger daughter, which I'm really starting to believe that they may know more than what they're saying. So let me give some shout outs first. Hello, Shannon. Good to see you. Please, you guys, while I'm going through these and welcoming everybody, please smash that like button. It's free to do. If you're a new subscriber here, hello, welcome to the madness. So, okay, Shannon, Looby Loo, Cat H, Shemina, hello, Git, hello, always good to see you. Fruitfly, hello. Cat H, good to see all you guys here. Hello, Julie, hello. Okay, so let's bring up the first document. So I've got a whole bunch of documents here that we're going to go over. Tomorrow is the hearing. Now, it was supposed to be a status conference, but apparently there's going to be more things woven into it, and you'll see that here. Okay, so let's get into this one first. It's 4 pages long. This is his lawyer, David Beller, and Jane Fisher. Now, she was also on his previous case. And I have moved my mic around here, you guys, so hopefully you guys get better sound now. But Jane Fisher, she was on his previous case. She was kind of in the background, but she was there. Hello, Susan. Good to see you. Hello, Allison. Hello. Okay, so motion for authorization to wear civilian clothing and or for modification of in-courtroom restraints. So he wants to be treated with kid gloves. And we're seeing a lot of this lately, you guys, where people are arrested and charged and you're in jail. Yes, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty, but you are in jail. You have been arrested. You were indicted. You should not be in civilian clothing. You are no longer civil to anyone, right? And this is getting crazy, crazy. Do you think they have enough? They've got more than enough. So don't forget, you guys, even though this is a new district, they can still use all the stuff, like the interviews and all that stuff from the first trial. Now, what they had to do to get this indictment again is show something different than what they didn't have before, some new evidence, whatever. They found her body, they found her remains. They have their autopsy that shows BAM in her system. Barry, the clothing that he was wearing the day that Suzanne apparently went missing. Come on now. The clothing he was wearing that day had one of the caps from the dart from BAM. It was also found that Barry is the only civilian in all that area of Colorado that would have had access to BAM. The other wildlife centers or veterinarians, because you do need a certain license to carry this stuff. Hello, Sharon. They contacted them. All their doses are accounted for. There's only one company that makes BAM. So they got the list going back years, who was this sold to? They've got all the documentation. Believe me, this is why they found her remains in 2023, September of 2023. And this is why it took so long till June of 2025 to finally indict him. They made sure they had everything. They made sure that they had every packet. And what I mean by packet, you guys, that's what we called them in the law firm, were packets. You'd have packets for interviews. You would have packets for photographs. You would have packets for, say, GPS information. You would have packets for coordinates. You would have packets for this, for that, for that. This is all part of your case. They made sure that every single little bit of evidence that they are planning to use, everything, including the, interrogations and everything, that they had everything ready to hand to the defense team the day that he was indicted. Whereas the first time he was charged, hello, Kate. The first time he was charged, they hadn't gotten all their shit together yet. There was police reports missing. Linda Stanley was going and doing interviews and talking on certain YouTube channels that I made it a point of saying, this should not be happening on a YouTube channel, especially with the name of this channel. You are putting it out there by the name of this channel, and we're not going to mention it here, that he's automatically evil or guilty. So, and she was on, and I got chat banned. I wasn't allowed to chat anymore on that channel because I was bringing it to Linda Stanley, who was on panel, and the host. Look at you guys both being with the credentials you have and being in the field of work that you are in. You guys of all should know better than to be on here discussing this. And they didn't like that at all because the clicks and views were everything, right? And lo and behold, that YouTube channel was part of the problem. And Linda Stanley going on that channel and discussing the case was a major part of the problem. So she's since lost her license and everything else. She's no longer a prosecutor or anything. So, or district attorney, whatever you want to call her. So anyway, but what I'm getting to is everything that they had, like the interviews that like Grusing and everything did with Barry Morphew, all the photos, all that stuff, they can still use. But in order to charge him again, they had to have something new that they didn't have back then. And I do feel they have a lot more. I believe that he was being watched very closely, and I think the daughters and his mother were being watched very closely. Bank records, emails, stuff like this. Like, I think they were being watched. But anyway, let's get back to this. So now Mr. Morphew has decided that he needs special treatment. And how dare you treat me like a criminal, right? Hello, Crazy Graham. So let's get into this. Comes now Barry Morphew by and through counsel and moves for authorization to dress in civilian. Let me make this bigger for you guys and for myself so you guys can read along with us. For authorization to dress in civilian clothing for the upcoming status conference hearing in this case and request modification of restraints during the proceedings sufficient to permit Mr. Morphew to take notes and effectively assist counsel. As grounds in support of this motion, Mr. Morphew states, Mr. Morphew is currently set to appear before this court on September 2nd. Make sure you guys are here. I'll start about 3:15. So make sure you're subscribed, get your notifications on. I'll start a little bit early so we can chit chat a little bit and everything and make sure everything is set up properly. And I will be covering this hearing tomorrow. There's been a significant amount of publicity in both print and electronic media over this case. Every case event, even the most mundane, is expected to garner an overwhelming amount of attention. Now, I'm going to make a comment about this because when this first happened, there was a million more people that were talking about this than what there is now for some reason. Although there are a lot of YouTubers that have, once he was arrested again, have kind of covered this again. They're not watching it as closely as they did the first time around. So I do not think that the overwhelming amount of attention, it's not getting the same as it did the first time around. A simple Google search in this case yields in excess of hundreds of thousands of hits. Yes, namely from right back to this happened Mother's Day, May 2020. He was arrested May 2021. A year later, almost to the day, right? That's where hundreds of thousands of hits are coming from. Like when you Google Barry Morphew, you will see 90% of the hits that you get are from back then. Okay, this local, national, and international attention means that Barry Morphew's image can be expected to be blasted to thousands of viewers. There is no doubt the jury pool in this case will be heavily saturated with these images. I mean, this was already done. This was already done years ago. Barry Morphew is presumed to be innocent. If Barry Morphew is not allowed to dress in civilian clothing for court appearances, his state and federal constitutional rights to be presumed innocent will be undermined. And I call BS on that. When you go to jail, you go into jail garb. You are in jail. Yes, you are still presumed innocent, but nothing is violating his constitutional right to what he has to wear. Once you are in prison, you can wear clothes that you buy, like t-shirts, pants, whatever, but not when you're being held in jail. You wear jail clothes. That has nothing to do with your constitutional right. That is the law of the land. Anyway, he will be repeatedly portrayed as a guilty criminal by virtue of being viewed in jail garb. Well, you're in jail. Anyway, the same is true if he is visibly handcuffed at counsel table, unable to take notes or assist counsel effectively. He don't need to take no damn notes, you guys. He knows what's up. He knows what he did. When potential jurors observe a defendant in restraints and prison clothes, they receive a subconscious instruction that the defendant is a bad person. Well, yeah, you are when you take the life of your wife, right? And a criminal who is not to be trusted. He's not. He lied through. Anyway, such treatment also sends a message as to how the police believe the accused should be treated and that he should be jailed. Yes, there's an abundance of evidence that he did this crime. So, yes, the police believe the accused should be treated and that he should be in jail. You don't go and murder somebody and then get to walk free until you're found guilty. Anyway, they cite a case here. The sight of shackles and gags might have a significant effect on the jury's feelings about the defendant. Simply put, shackles and jail uniforms suggest to the jury that the justice system itself sees a need to separate a defendant from the community at large. Now, you guys know I worked in law for over 30 years in criminal law. This here, I hope the judge says something about this because he is not going in front of the jury right now. These are status conferences, motions. There is no jury. They know, anybody that knows anything about this case knows that he is in jail. So him being shackled or him being in orange, to those people who already know about this case, it ain't going to make an iota of difference. And for the ones who don't know about him, aren't going to be seeing him in jail clothes because they don't know about him. And this is, if I was the prosecutor, this is what I would argue to this. Number one, there's no jury present. And any prospective juror out there that knows about Barry Morphew, knows that he was already arrested once, knows that he's been arrested again, knows that, all the evidence they got against him and what he did to his wife, blah, 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 blah. So seeing him in handcuffs and jail garb isn't going to make an iota difference. And those that don't know about Barry Morphew aren't going to see any of this. And they're not going to see it anyway because you guys don't want us to show it. Right? It's not like it's being blasted across WebEx to everybody out there, right? So I think this is null and void, this argument. If that's what you're using as your argument, to me, it's null and void. When Barry has been present in court, including numerous court appearances in the prior prosecution, he was out of custody on bond. He has always been quiet and respectful. Really? Court may in the People versus Knight, it says, court may deny defendant's request to appear unrestrained and in street clothes only when necessary for physical security, prevention of escape, or courtroom decorum. Susan says, I remember it all so well, though should never have made comments. I won't even watch that certain person if they appear in my videos. Makes me sick. Yeah. So then they cite another case citing Deck versus Missouri. Reasonable efforts should be used to prevent juror views of defendants under restraints. Like I said in my previous statement, all of this right here is mute because anybody who already knows about the case knows about the case, and those who don't aren't going to see it. And there is no jury present for these proceedings. So this, to me, again, is mute. Reasonable effort should be used to prevent the juror's view of defendants under restraint. Reversal required when such views occurred and were found to be unnecessary and prejudicial. He was not under handcuff or other restraints, and there was never any incident or reason to apply such restraints. Well, yeah, he was not under handcuffs or other restraints because he was out on bail. Duh. So it's like, they're playing with words. They're playing word salad here. This is what I call word salad. It's mute. Okay. And to put in here, well, he was not in handcuffs or other restraints before. Well, no, because he was out on bail. But when he was in jail garb and he was restrained. Consistent with the presumption of innocence, Mr. Morphew moves for authorization to wear civilian clothing. Arrangements can be made to drop off clothing what? That's not right. Arrangements can be made to drop off clothing no, this is wrong. This should not be here. You guys know how I am about paperwork. Should be drop off clothing at the detention center the night before the hearing or in the morning or under whatever arrangements are convenience for the Alamosa County Sheriff's Department. Well, yeah. Should they cater to you? oh, guys, you can't take him over to the courthouse until such and such time because we can't be there until this time to drop. No, it better be under the convenience of the sheriff's department. It's just, it irks me the way that they're putting things. It irks me. It's almost like they're talking down. You know what I mean? This court should, passive aggressive, that's the word I was looking for. Anyway, this court should ensure that unnecessary restraints are not imposed during appearances before this court. Right now, he is a charged murderer. Counsel acknowledges that the court may properly impose restraints upon the defendant which are necessary to maintain security of the courtroom. Now they're going to cite another case. However, only that security is permitted which is necessary to ensure the defendant remains in custody and will not endanger court personnel or others in the courtroom and will not disrupt the trial. We're not at trial, right? We're not at trial right now. People versus Rogers. The Rogers decision is in reference to restraints used at trial. However, the court chose to apply the same standards to the Lucero decision, which was not in reference to a jury trial. No, it was in front of just a judge. He didn't choose for a jury trial. He chose for a trial in front of judge alone. Mute point again. There is no evidence as before the court that any type of heightened security is necessary. He killed his own wife. His own wife of what, 30 years or 25 years or something like that? He killed his own wife. If he can do that to somebody he claimed to love, oh, Suzanne, please, whoever has her, let her go. We love you. And that's what you do to somebody you love. What would you do to somebody who is there to make sure you follow the rules, who has no connection to you, that, grabs you by your arm and brings you back to a cell that's going to lock you behind bars again? Anyway, there's no indication from the deputies or others that handcuffs alone or handcuffs coupled with shackles and the like would not suffice for the protection of the proceedings. Okay, so this doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you putting this in here? You're going against what you're trying to project. There's no indication from deputies or others that handcuffs alone or handcuffs coupled with shackles and the like would not suffice. Well, that's what they've been doing. They've been putting the shackles around his ankles and handcuffs. So why are you putting this part in here? You're just like almost rebutting what you just said. The shackles and like would not suffice. So it's like, Your Honor, just having him in handcuffs and shackles is fine. That's like good enough. Like, what else were they intending on doing with this guy? You are saying in your previous statements that you don't want handcuffs or shackles or nothing. You know what I mean? But now you're saying that handcuffs alone or handcuffs coupled with shackles and the like would not suffice for the protection of the proceedings. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the Sixth Amendment guarantees that court may not prevent a defendant from consulting with his attorney during trial. Having handcuffs on and shackles on your feet does not stop you or prevent you from leaning over and whispering in your attorney's ear. Like they're grabbing at straws. Or otherwise impose restrictions which hinder or prevent counsel from being effective in representing and advocating for the client's cause. How is him being in handcuffs and shackles on his feet preventing you from, or how does that hinder or impose restrictions or prevent counsel from being effective in representing you? You're right there beside them. You can lean over and whisper in their ear. They don't need to use their hands to talk to you or their feet. It just doesn't make any sense. They're grasping at straws. Whereover, Mr. Morphew moves for authorization to dress in civilian clothing for the upcoming status conference hearing in this case, which is tomorrow, and I'm going to cover it, you guys, and requests modifications of restraints so that his hands are free to take notes and assist counsel. You can lean over and whisper in your lawyer's ear. David Beller, Jane Fisher. So the next one we are going to see is, we're going to skip to, and we're going to go to the order so we keep things together, okay? So here is the judge's order. Order for motion for authorization to wear civilian clothing and for modification of in-courtroom restraints. The motion proposed, order attached hereto, granted in part. Mr. Morphew may appear in plain clothes, provided the clothing is brought to the Alamosa County Jail no later than 10 a.m. on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. His clothing may not include a belt, a necktie, shoelaces, or anything else that could be used as a weapon. The Alamosa County Sheriff's Office may reject any clothing it feels does not comply with this order. Furthermore, Mr. Morphew may appear in the courtroom without visible shackles, but passive restraints such as a stun cuff shall be used. So that's like a thing around his waist that it's like a shock collar, like what you put on your dog. So if he tries to get up and run or anything like that, they shock him. Mr. Morphew shall, through his attorneys, advise the sheriff's office of any medical condition. Oh, that's going to come. You watch. Oh, my heart, my heart. You ain't got a heart, bud. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Such as a pacemaker. Don't worry about it. Judge, don't worry about it. He's got no heart. He'll be fine. I'd like to push that button maybe once, twice, 5 times. That could cause him injury should a passive restraint device be activated. The sheriff's office may place Mr. Morphew in handcuffs or other restraints for transport when he is not in the courtroom. Like, I don't know, you guys. I'm just so against this. Like, for those of you who know about this case, know what he did and how long did Suzanne suffer before he finally took her life. He skinned her like an animal before burying her where they found her. Skinned her. There was not even any hair. Cut off her feet. Her feet have never been found. But here you go, Mr. Morphew. Here you go. You can wear your good clothes. And we won't restrain you. Patty says, remember Shabizz attacked her lawyer, handcuffs, shackles, and nice. Yeah. It's crazy, you guys. Okay. Okay, so here's the next one. There is another one before this, but it's a little longer, so we're going to get into this one first. Mr. Morphew, I'm going to make it big so you guys can see it and follow along. This was filed August 27th. We just got it. It was just put into the record yesterday, the day before, or the day before Friday. Comes now. Look at this. Motion to reduce bond. Hey, boss lady. So now he doesn't want handcuffs. He doesn't want shackles. He doesn't want to wear jail clothes. Now he wants a bond reduction. Comes now Barry Morphew buying through counsel and moves this court for a bond reduction. Now, we know the last time when he was first arrested, he was put out on $1 million bond. He had that bond reduced to $500,000 cash or property, right? And they had every reason to believe, and I think he knew that they were either going to win, and if it would have went to trial, he probably would have got off. He knew that there was a good chance that he wasn't going to be found guilty. So he wasn't really worried, right? So he went for a bond reduction back then, and he got it put down to $500,000, and he had his daughter go to the bank and take out $500,000 of Suzanne's money to post his bond, right? Well, this time she's been found. The autopsy shows not only was there BAM in her system that they can link back to him, the dart that injected that BAM, the cap for that was found in the dryer with the clothes that he was wearing that day. There's so much, right? He knows now his goose is cooked. He is not going to skate by this time. He knows his goose is cooked. Now there is more reason for him to take off to Never Never Land, right? Or take himself out, right? No, you're not getting out, buddy. And if the judge lowers this bond, I am going to be so pissed. There is 100,000,000% chance now, with all the evidence they got, and they got her body, and they got the BAM, they got the this and that, that he's going to be found guilty, and he knows it. He knows it. So letting him out at all, forget it. Okay? Now, a lot of this has also been redacted because his lawyers did not want us to see this. He did not want the public to see this. So they tried to file this under seal, and the judge made an order, which I guess I should have done before this, but I'll show you it, where he says, the judge said no. She said, no, it's going to be released, but it's going to be redacted. So that's how we got this. So comes now Barry Morphew buying through counsel and moves for this court for a bond reduction. Well, it is his preference to be authorized, whatever this is, pending trial, authorized to be released pending trial. He certainly would abide by any conditions if this court declines whatever and requires instead that he whatever. It's been redacted. On May 5th, 2021, prosecutors arrested Mr. Morphew. This is almost 5 days short of Mother's Day, 2020. Suzanne went missing May 10th. We believe it's the 9th. May 9th, 2020. He was arrested almost a year to the day later. Prosecutors arrested Mr. Morphew in Fremont County, case 22 CR 47. Mr. Morphew remained in custody until September 17th, at which time the court set Mr. Morphew's bond at $500,000. Upon his release, Mr. Morphew, he was initially held without bail. I think it was $1 million cash bail. Upon his release, Mr. Morphew appeared at every court appearance and remained out of custody the entire time that his case was pending, because he knew that he was going to get off if it went to trial, or that they were going to dismiss it, right? Hello, K-Match. Hello, Shannon's Copper. He never missed a single court hearing and kept all appointments and check-ins as ordered by the court. Okay, but there's more at stake now. They have her body. They have more evidence against him that is going to sink him. There is a more opportunity. He's since sold a lot more property. And there is a bigger chance, almost 100% chance he's going to be found guilty. So no, he should not be let out. Anyway, I don't care what happened in the last one. That one was a complete cluster F. And Linda Stanley messed that up so bad. His lawyers knew it. He wasn't worried. So no, he's not going to take off. But now, look out. Okay? There was never any problem or any claim that he failed to abide by every condition imposed. Ultimately, the case was dismissed against him. Dismissed without prejudice because Linda Stanley screwed up so bad. 14 expert witnesses were removed from the prosecution being able to use them. Those were the sanctions that were imposed on them. Well, those sanctions aren't there this time. That's why Barry Morphew wasn't scared. Now he's scared. Mr. Morphew's circumstances have not significantly changed. Oh, yes, they have. He knows now that his goose is cooked since his release. He remained represented, and his attorney stayed in regular contact with the district attorney's office. Mr. Morphew has family and close friends in whatever. One of his daughters, and I'm believing This is probably Mallory, because Mallory, everything is under Mallory's name. All his money, his businesses, everything is under Mallory's name. In such a place, if authorized, so we don't know what this says, in residence where he could live until the resolution of this case, while establishing a permanent residence where he could live until resolution of this case. So it's saying here that he could live with Mallory Morphew at her residence while establishing a permanent residence where he could live until resolution of this case. Statutory considerations. Colorado statutes compel this court to presume that Mr. Morphew is eligible for release on bond with the appropriate and least restrictive conditions, not on first-degree murder. So CRS, this 164103, consistent with conditions that are no stricter than required to reasonably ensure the appearance of the person as required and to protect the safety of any person or the community, taking into consideration the individual characteristics of each person in custody, including the person's financial condition. Too bad. You got tons of Suzanne's money that you've been just blowing through. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to stop commenting because I'm going to get angry again. Colorado statutes provide that a monetary condition of release must be reasonable. You shouldn't have killed your wife. And any other condition of conduct not mandated by statute must be tailored to address specific concerns. This court must consider all methods of bond and conditions of release to avoid unnecessary pretrial incarceration and levels of community-based supervision as conditions of pretrial release. And back up here where he said that he followed everything, no. He was supposed to wear an ankle monitor, and half the time it didn't even register. It couldn't connect. So half the time, they didn't even know where he was. Is that when he moved Suzanne? Statutory consistencies set forth in 164103 and include the employment status and history of Mr. Morphew, the nature and extent of his family relationships, his past and present residences, Mr. Morphew's character and reputation. Well, why don't you talk to people that knew him? If you think he's in good character, he's not. He lied to people. When it was dismissed without prejudice the last time, there's photos of him trying to pick up women in bars and everything else, and saying that his name was Bruce Lee or Lee Morphew or Bruce Lee Morphew or Lee Morphew, Bruce Morphew. And one woman said, "Are you Barry Morphew?" And he said, "No, you got the wrong person." And somebody else come up and said, "Yeah, that's Barry Morphew." Like, he was lying and deceiving still. So you want to talk about his character? He will lie, cheat, steal, murder. It don't matter. Don't ask me about his character. He's a liar. Identity of persons who agree to assist him in attending court at proper time. That's going to be his daughters. The likely sentence, considering the nature and the offense presently charged. Yeah, you're going for the rest of your life, bud. Mr. Morphew's prior criminal record, if any, and any prior failures to appear for court. Any facts indicating the possibility of violations of the law if he is released. Yeah, he's going to take off. Any facts indicating that he is likely to intimidate or harass possible witnesses. He tried to do that. He did try to do that in the previous one. Any other facts tending to indicate Mr. Morphew has a strong ties to the community and is not likely to flee the jurisdiction. No, he's going to flee, and he's got the money to do it now. Hello, Joan. You seen Barry's attorney 3-part interview with MB? Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, we don't mention other channels here. So mods, please watch for that. If they mention other channels, please remove it. Joan, sorry, but we don't mention other channels here. But no, I haven't seen that. I stick to the facts. I stick to just what comes out in the court documents, etc. That's what we do here. All these factors militate in favor of reducing his current $3 million cash-only bond to reasonable bond that most Mr. Morphew can post. Look at, we're not here to please you, Mr. Morphew. We're here to get you through trial. But hey, I don't have 3 million. So can you lower that, please? I got 500,000. Can you do that for me, please? Like, no. Employment. Mr. Morphew has always been gainfully employed as an expert landscaper. No, he was a con artist that sold businesses to other people fraudulently. He lied about the income the businesses were generating and who owned them. He was sued by several people. As an expert landscaper? No. Um, and whatever this is, here, by his arrest on this case. In Colorado, he has numerous business contacts that will provide work for him. Really? Name them. Family. I'm sure that they mentioned his both daughters here and his mother. He also has an age. Okay, so his daughters, and they probably put their addresses here. He also has an aging mother, Shirley Morphew. His family remains extremely close and supportive of Mr. Morphew. Yeah, because they're getting the money, right? And they're probably scared of him. Residences. As stated above, Mr. Morphew has his own residence. This is at that trailer park in Arizona. Otherwise, and if he can stay there, otherwise he will reside with probably Mallory or at another location if ordered by this court, because he tends to favor Mallory. Mallory used to go hunting and kill animals with him. Mallory this, Mallory that, Mallory this, Mallory that. It was Macy that had text her mom, like, Mom, just get a restraining order, divorce him, get a restraining order, blah, blah, blah. Mallory was Daddy's girl. Mallory is the one that has all the money, the businesses, everything is under Mallory. So I can almost guarantee you this is Mallory or his mother or another location if ordered by this court. Mr. Morphew has many close contacts in wherever, many of whom have offered him a place to stay should this court reduce his bond to a reasonable amount. Character and reputation. Prior to the government's attempts to portray him as a criminal, Mr. Morphew's reputation was excellent. Was it excellent? Because we can bring, I hope the prosecution brings up the facts that back in Arizona and everything, he went to court. He was being sued and everything because he was selling businesses that he was lying about, like the paperwork and everything, saying that it was worth all this money and he was the only owner and this and that. And he sold land and this and that to people unknowingly that he didn't have authorization to do it. And the businesses were worth nothing. So, no, he doesn't have an excellent reputation. A lot of people say that he was very controlling. He controlled the money. He tried to control Suzanne. He tried to isolate her. No. He is an honest person. Really? The people suing him for purchasing these businesses that were fake, phony, or not as he portrayed them to be financially, I think they would say something a little different. Who is generally eager to clear his name that his former fine reputation can be restored. He doesn't have a former fine reputation. Remember, too, that he was doing illegal things like using BAM to shoot deer or moose or whatever to get their antlers, which is highly illegal, right? Come on, stop it. I hope the prosecution brings us all up. Persons who will assist him in appearing. Mr. Morphew's legal team, friends, and daughters will provide all needed assistance in ensuring he appears for all court hearings. Likely sentence. Mr. Morphew is innocent and there will be no sentence imposed. Well, I beg to differ. If hypothetically he were convicted, the sentence would depend upon the degree of offense and could range anywhere from probation to mandatory. You think he's going to get probation for taking the life of his wife? Like, come on. To mandatory life imprisonment without parole. It must be noted that these were the same sentences he faced previously. Criminal record. Mr. Morphew's only criminal conviction is his guilty plea to a Class 5 felony forgery of a government document. Wait a minute. I thought that his super fine reputation, honest, is an honest person, an excellent reputation, a fine reputation can be restored. Oh, forgery of a government document? A felony? Like, you kind of just put your foot in your mouth. you might want to have taken this one out if you were going to try and claim that, honest person and excellent reputation and fine reputation can be restored. Um, a classified felony, forgery of a government document. He satisfactorily completed a 1-year term of probation. It should also be noted that he was blah 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 while he was on probation. He always appeared as required, and there was never any issue with his compliance. It should be noticed that he was. What is this? He was something while he was on probation. It should be noted that he was something while he was on probation. He always appeared as required, and there was never any issue with his compliance. What is this? What did he have to appear for as required? Were there other charges? It should be noted that he was also charged and going through court while he was on probation. He always appeared as required. There was never any issue with his compliance. I don't know. Possible violations of the law if released and likelihood of intimidating or harassing possible witnesses. Mr. Morphew has not committed any violation of the law or intimidated, harassed any witnesses throughout from time to time of his first arrest to the present. Oh, should we also mention that he came out with shotguns when Suzanne's brother and other searchers were trying to search for his wife before he was arrested? He intimidated them. He intimidated Adventures with Purpose and my brother, AK, when they were out there trying to search for Suzanne before he was arrested. He showed up, and him and his buddies showed up with shotguns and everything. Oh, it should be noted that he was on conditions while he was on probation and always appeared as required, and there was never any issues. That could be it too. So yes, thank you for that, Courtney. And hello, Courtney. Hello, K. Mitch. Um, so you didn't intimidate or harass any witnesses? You threatened people? You showed up with shotguns? You had your buddies surround Adventures with Purpose and my brother when they were out there trying to find your wife? Stop it. From time to time, okay, whatever. Strong ties to the community and whether he is likely to flee. Mr. Morphew has strong ties to whatever. He is not likely to flee based on his history, motivation to clear his name, and strong ties to his daughters. No, he didn't flee the last time because he knew that he was going to either get off or it was going to be dismissed. But now he knows he's caught because they found her body and they found the BAM in her system. Even though he skinned her alive, there was not even any hair. There was no signs of where her body was found, you guys. There was no decomposition there. None. Zero. She wasn't buried there first. She decomposed somewhere else or was, I'm sorry, skinned. Even when your body decomposes, your hair stays there for mega years. Mega. Google it. Mega years. Hair will still be found. There was not one hair found. He scalped her. He skinned her body down to the bones. All that they found there was bones and her port. Then what did he do? He threw biking clothes in there. But what he failed to do was put any decomposition or anything in there, or even there was no decomp even on the clothes. He threw biking clothes in there. So it would look like, if she ever was found, that it would look like she was biking, right? He couldn't put her bike shoes on because they took them already. They already had them. So what did he do? He threw bike clothes in there, but there was no decomposition on the clothes. So if she would have died in those biking clothes and been thrown in there, there'd be all kinds of decomp. There'd still be hair, and the clothes would be saturated in body fluids, but they weren't. Tomorrow, okay, Mitch, I will be going live between 3 and 3:15 for his hearing, but this is what is going to be brought up at the hearing tomorrow. So not likely to flee. I believe that he is very likely to flee. His daughters are already covering for him. They got to know by now that he did it. And they're covering for him now. You don't think they'll cover for him if he takes off? We already know by the last ankle monitor that they had on him when he was released the last time out on bond, that 90% of the time it didn't even register if he had leave the area or anything, because there was the signal, the connection wasn't good enough. So they never knew if he was actually where he was supposed to be or where he said he was. That's probably how he got to move her body, right? Constitutional considerations. Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution and 8th Amendment to the United States Constitution provide excessive bail shall not be required. Well, when you do something like you did and skin your wife, scalp her, skin her bones, and they still haven't found her feet. It said her bones were bleached. They didn't say bleached like with bleach. They were bleached, which could mean they were put out in the sun to dry, whatever. Is that my Jeep? Hang on. Okay, was not my car. Okay. Okay, so I think the bail set where it is, like look at Lori Vallow. She got a very high bail too. So did Chad Daybell. So I don't think the bail should be reduced at all. The Supreme Court in the United States versus Solero evaluated whether, through regulatory powers, the government possessed a compelling interest in justifying curtailing liberty interests. Such considerations proposes that bail is a liberty interest. Wow. Thus, defendants awaiting trial remain clothed with a presumption of innocence and with their constitutional guarantees intact. Wow. Like, stop. Where's Suzanne's rights? And where is the rights to keep the rest of not only the witnesses and everything else safe from him going after them? No. Like I said, last time he knew Linda Stanley screwed up. He knew that if he went to trial, he probably would have, I don't know if he still would have got off, but they lost 14 expert witnesses because of Linda Stanley's incompetence. Now they're going to be able to use those. Okay? Anyway, a finding of probable cause does not disturb the innocence presumption and is not a substitute for showing that would justify severe pretrial restrictions on liberty. Thus, in our system, bail is a mechanism that protects the well-established right to freedom before conviction, not when you are a murderer and you pose a threat to anybody that's going to testify against him, while also protecting society's interest in ensuring that the defendants answer to the charges against him. And I do believe that he would screw off. Courts have ruled consistently that bail constitutes a fundament of liberty underpinning our criminal proceedings. That has been regarded as elemental to the American system of jurisprudence. Okay, but you know what? Not on first-degree murder. Premeditated, planned, premeditated, first degree. He scalped her, skinned her bones. Stop it. They still haven't found her feet. Monetary bail has been the mechanism for preserving the traditional right to freedom before conviction. Thus, the Supreme Court described bail as a right and a constitutional privilege, right? And you have the right to live too and not be murdered by your husband. that safeguards pretrial liberties and the presumptively innocent, who provides sufficient security to assure their appearance and not to endanger the community. Right. Take every damn cent that he took of Suzanne's money, $3 million. That's what you're going to pay, because that money should be going back to her family when you screw up and take off, right? Because the function of bail is limited to assuring the defendant's presence at trial, bail set at a figure higher than the amount reasonable calculated to fulfill the purpose is excessive under the Eighth Amendment. So is killing your wife. Sorry, I'm going to say it. A state can violate the bail clause by restraining pretrial liberty through either detention or conditions of release. The present bail is excessive, far greater than that necessary to secure Mr. Morphew's appearance. No, it's not. No. I think it should have been set at $10 million, so he could never pay it. Wherefore, Mr. Morphew requests that this court set a reasonable bond. He requests an appearance bond of no more than $500,000 cash, surety, or property. No. It's got to be whatever she sets. It better be cash only. While his preference is for, this is going to be for, you know what? While his preference is just a release on my own recognizance with conditions, or just to be released with an ankle monitor, he will abide by whatever residence conditions are set by this court. I wish I knew what some of this said, because you know what? Oh, he's a fine, upstanding citizen, Your Honor. He didn't do nothing to poor Suzanne. Really? We were in the middle of COVID and you were the only one around her. She did not die on a bike ride. She did not get kidnapped, because if that was the case, Barry, you wouldn't have had to throw biking clothes in there. Biking clothes, mind you, that had they would have been saturated in her body fluids if she had decomposed there. But no, you threw brand new ones in there, the color and everything that she would wear. A stranger that kidnapped her and did this to her wouldn't know what her favorite colors were to wear biking. But you knew, Barry, and that's why you threw those blue biking shorts and everything in there. Her feet still aren't found. Why? Because, Barry, they got her shoes. You couldn't throw them in there. There would be no DNA. You could go and buy a brand new pair, but there would not be any of Suzanne's DNA in them. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. Okay, so here was, they had asked the judge to be able to file it under seal. And as you've seen, the motion proposed order attached here to granted. Pursuant to criminal P55 1A2 subsections, blah, 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 Mr. Morphew's motion to limit public access to his motion to reduce bond is hereby granted. Permitting public access to Mr. Morphew's motion by releasing only a redacted copy serves the substantial interest of protecting the identity and thereby the security of individuals identified in the motion to reduce bond who are not Mr. Morphew, as well as other information contained in the motion that would not otherwise be public under the privacy-related rules. Well, you got to remember, the online sleuths are very good. We already know where Mallory lives. We already know where his mother's living, where Macy's living, everything. We already know all this anyway, so why you wanted to redact it all, I don't know. And we all know that if he is released on bail, he'll be living with Mallory like he did the last time. He wouldn't even let Andy, her brother, search the property in and around. No, he wouldn't. He come out with a shotgun and said, "You're getting close to my property line." And then when my brother, AK, and went there with Adventures with Purpose down the road near close, like on the way to Maysville there, to near that trailer park and everything. I have the pictures and everything of the bridge and everything. I wish Martin would pop in. What was I just going to say? Oh, when AK went there with Adventures with Purpose, they were surrounded. The Adventures with Purpose took off. They said, "Nope, we're packing up ship. We don't need to be shot." He had his goons out there, not intimidating people. Bullshit. So Amanda Claire Hopkins, this is the judge that is residing over his case. This order shall only expire when and if the redacted information is otherwise made public. However, this order pertains only to Mr. Morphew's motion to reduce bond and no other motions as yet filed. So, the one good thing that we do have is this. David Mormon, which is Suzanne's brother, when they found out that he was going for a reduction in bond, they filed a victim impact statement for the judge. Let me just take some of my coffee here. He treated her body like a deer hide. Yep. He scalped her. There was not even any hair. Okay. Name of victim. David Mormon. This is her brother. Okay. Says it right here. Brother. Would you like to be present at the sentencing hearing? Yes. This isn't just a sentencing hearing. This is also for regarding the bail and everything too. Effects of the crime and recommendations for sentencing. See attached. Please describe any physical injury sustained. There was none, but he did threaten him. I wish he would have put in here that he threatened them with a shotgun. What do you believe could be done to assist in repairing the harm inflicted on you and your family? Conviction of Barry Morphew. Are there any conditions you would like to see the court impose on the defendant? This may include no contact with you or your family, jail, probation, alcohol, or drugs. See attached. Part 2 is restitution. Was there any property stolen or damaged during the commission of this crime? He said no. I would say yes, because he stole all of Suzanne's stuff, property, investments in properties, her inheritance, everything. Her feet, her shoes, her hair. I know it sounds morbid, you guys, but it's true. Was any property stolen or damaged during the commission of this crime? Yeah, her feet are still missing. Her hair is missing. Did you apply for crime victim compensation? And if so, have you been approved? I don't know what is here because it is blocked out. Restitution requested. I am not asking for restitution. So he's making it known that this isn't about money. This is about getting justice for his sister, right? Hey, Rose. Thank you for coming in. It's always good to see you. So this is dated August 21st, 2025. And here is the attached, okay? And it's directed towards Ann Kelly. I thought she's in the 4th Judicial District. Hang on a second. Is Alamosa County the 14th Judicial District? Oh, Alamosa County is part of the 12th Judicial District, not the 14th. Okay, so I guess the other one was the 14th or the 11th. Anyway, victim impact statement, Barry Morphew. Dear Miss Kelly, as the oldest sibling of Suzanne Morphew, I prepared the following statement for you and the court. I have no financial request from the district or the citizens of Sagash. I can't say it. Alamosa County currently. Please contact me with any questions you may have, and thank you for your continued service in the matters involving my sister's case. To whom it may concern, I have laid awake many nights pondering the last few minutes of my sister Suzanne's life. Can you imagine running from being shot with that dart? Once struck, hang on a sec. Sorry, you guys, I had a sneeze there. Once struck by the bam laden dart, it is hard to imagine the terror she felt as she tried to escape. With every pounding heartbeat, the chemical quickened its pace into her system, just like it had on so many deer her now psychopathic partner had shot. The screams, the tears, the pain, the were the outward expressions as her physical body began to separate from her spirit and soul, one trying to hang on to the earthly realm, while the other, in quiet resignation, came to grips with the tipping point that had been reached. As the chemical did its work, the physical struggle would soon end, and her heart stopped. The separation was now complete, allowing her spirit to rise above the morbid stage. Her conscious human presence on earth was over. As she contemplating the marriage to this monster, her thoughts migrated to a question she repeated innumerable times in her life: what was I thinking? As she gazed at the limp corpse, her former body. Oh my God, I'm going to start crying, you guys. And the last testament to her earthly presence, she now understood her death was symbolic culmination of her marriage. One where she was nothing but a live trophy for public display by a cunning predator, much like the animal trophies he had displayed on his walls. Her legacy will hopefully help others, men and women, avoid the fate she has suffered with her marriage to a heartless narcissist. As she watched her killer frantically work to cover a crime he would never escape, she grasped the freedom from captivity she had not felt but for a few fleeting moments over the last 25 years. All right. Whew. This new status as a roaming spirit allowed her powers far beyond anything she imagined on Earth. Powers that see the future with the ability to guide actions. It would be with these powers she would enjoy the last word. Regardless of how long it took or where her remains would come to rest, she resolved to keep calling from the wilderness and cleverly guide her killer to the corner. Her plan was to turn this egotistical narcissism and gaslighting into his personal soul-consuming prison for both this life and his next. Suzanne's spirit has guided all of us down a tortuous path to this point. The stage setting has changed and changed again, which has tested both hope and patience. Whew. An arrest, the hope of a trial, a release without prejudice, the images of of a gloating killer, and the heartbreaking manipulation of her daughter she loves so much. She has disguisingly watched the scheming jackal from her perch, with all the satisfaction of knowing she would have the last word. Through the seasons over 3 years, 1,231 days, a core group of tireless investigators moved along a trail that would start in Chaffee and end just off Highway 17 in Sagashi County. Sorry if I'm not saying it right. Please don't attack me. I'm trying not to break down here. But anyway, a faithful rendezvous on the morning of September 22nd, 2023, with a dedicated public servant who rose that day, having no idea of the part they would play in my sister's saga. The scattered remains on a premeditated stage, providing a reward for the thousands of hours of work done on her case. Their amazing forensic work would be the final push to a finish line where a seated grand jury could render a first-degree murder indictment. We have all finally arrived at the point where Suzanne can receive justice. For all those who knew and loved her, this is a very bittersweet moment, as we would love to see her smile, her laugh, and enjoy her wonderfully accepting personality. Oh my God. Okay, I'm good. But we now must march forward to finish the journey which never should have begun. All involved, whether family, friends, investigators, followers, or citizens of Chaffee and Saguache County, have paid a staggering emotional price in this saga. The accused are offered their day in court, but on my sister's behalf, I am requesting the following. The interim release of Barry Morphew should never, under no circumstances, be granted. I am sure the grand jurors who indicted him would agree. His flight risk and serial psychopathic controller of all in the realm of his influence. He needs to remain in prison through the entire legal proceedings till a verdict is read. Oh my God, you guys. I'm going to go to comments for a minute. Sorry I'm late. It's okay. Get right. I've got tears. It's like I'm trying to hold myself together here. Hello, Leah. Leah says he was very likely to flee and has deep country. Yeah. Yes. I had already mentioned that, Susan. My brother and Adventures with Purpose. It's my brother who called Adventures with Purpose, and they were surrounded. Yes. Oh, this is like, it's horrible. It's horrible. Um, it's just triggering for me because of how my Billy was killed, right? Anyway, let's continue. Okay. I think I read this, but I'm going to do it again. The interim release of Barry Morphew should, under no circumstances, be granted. I am sure the grant. Oh my God, you guys, hang on. Um, sure, the grand jurors who indicted him would agree. He is a flight risk and serial psychopathic controller of all in the realm of his influence. She's talking about his daughters. Um, he needs to remain in prison throughout the entire legal proceedings until a verdict is read. Yes, okay. While death by hanging is deserved for the nature and the premeditated planning of this crime, I am requesting a life sentence with no chance of parole. If the truth were acknowledged, Barry Morphew is a soulless, sadistic, immoral predator that has haunted or used those around him his entire life. There is no redemption here. Anyone believing such are just foolish lambs awaiting her potential slaughter. He is a born killer, nurtured by those who sanctioned my sister's death. Thank you for your service, and I look forward to the trial. So, I hope that this is read for tomorrow. We're going to find out because I'm going to cover it. Um, thank you, Tanya. It is. It's very triggering for me. Very triggering. Um, wow. Okay, let's go back over here. I think I've read it all. We went through the witness list already. We went through all of this. This is just a lot of this up top here, you guys, is the media requesting to be able to cover it. We went through the amended notice of endorsement of witness list. We went through all this already, and we just went through all of these. So tomorrow I will be live between 3 and 3:15 to cover all of this, because this will all be heard by the judge tomorrow. He is asking for no restraints. He is asking to be able to wear civilian clothes. They will be setting dates for motions and hearings and this and that. And um, I don't think he's been arraigned yet. No, he hasn't even been arraigned yet. So all this will be happening tomorrow, as well as he wants to have his bond reduced. This will all be being discussed tomorrow, and I will be covering it. So make sure you are here tomorrow. Watch for the thumbnail. I'll put the thumbnail up around 1 o'clock, I guess, somewhere around there. Um, so just keep checking my under the live tab on my YouTube page. I'll also be posting it over on X and Facebook. So if you're on my X or on my Facebook, if you're following me there, you will also see it listed there. Oh, thank you, Kat. You're so sweet. It's tough. I knew, and this is why I saved this for last, because I knew I was going to have a hard time going through it. So there you've got it. I hope that that is read for the judge or given to the judge tomorrow. Or if not, I hope Andy can speak or David can speak tomorrow um, for this bond reduction. Oh, the prosecutor has it. The defense is going to have a copy of this. I hope that the prosecution uses this tomorrow when he goes for this reduction. He has nothing left to lose anymore, you guys. Yes, I will see you tomorrow. So I will be covering it tomorrow. It's going to be at 3:30 Eastern. It's 1:30 Colorado time. Alamosa County time is 1:30, so that is 3:30 my time. So I'll jump on about 15 minutes, maybe half an hour early, and we can talk and discuss. And if you guys have any questions, maybe I can answer them, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so with that being said, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up because it's been rough on me today. Again, if you guys feel in your heart that you can donate to the channel, I appreciate the donations. It helps support the channel for everything that I do bring. And again, tomorrow, I don't know how long this hearing is going to go tomorrow, but I'm assuming it's going to go for quite some time. There's a lot of issues that they're going to be talking about tomorrow. The clothing, can he wear? Well, the judge already said he could. The restraint thing, all this is going to all be discussed tomorrow. The bail, the new court dates for such things that have to, he's got to be arraigned. I don't know if he's going to be arraigned. Are they going to set a date for that? Is he going to waive his right to a speedy trial? We don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. So make sure you're here with me tomorrow. I will be live between 3 and 3:15 Eastern. So that will be 1 to 1:15 Colorado time. So watch for my thumbnail. I will be putting that up around 1 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, so you guys can set your notifications and be notified. So until then, thank you everybody for being here and going through this with us. Thank you for all your commentary and chat. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, mods. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, share this out, and continue to do so. It very much helps me, and I appreciate each and every one of you. TK Sass says, Sweet Will, I don't have the extra funds to share with you, but I can and will keep you in my heart and prayers. Thank you, TK Sass. Thank you so much. And yeah, I don't, unless you can afford it, you guys, subscribing, hitting that like, sharing it out helps also. So I don't expect, those who can't afford it, I don't expect you guys to do it. But it is a lot of work. So I do appreciate those who do support the channel in the way that they do. It all helps. So thank you, you guys. I'm going to, see you tomorrow, you guys. I love you guys too. I'm going to end it like I always do. Please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. Always be aware of your surroundings. Watch who you trust. Watch those red flags, you guys. I just got full body shivers. I love you guys to the moon and back. Bye bye for now.